Today we're going to talk a little bit about the creation of the earth, which of course belongs to YAHUAH, as he created it. Okay. So the creation of the earth. There's the scriptures we're going to use. We'll start off at the very beginning. Or Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, YAHUAH created the Shamayim and the Arath. See, he created it. And the earth, or the Arath, was without a form, and it was void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Ruach of YAHUAH moved upon the face of the waters. And YAHUAH, Debar, let there be light. And there was light. So he said it, and it came to be. And YAHUAH saw the light, that it was good. And YAHUAH divided the light from the darkness. So right now he's separating the light and the darkness. And YAHUAH called the light Yom, or day. And the darkness he called Layla, or night. And the evening and the morning were the first Yom, or day. And YAHUAH Debar, let there be a firmament, or a sky, in the midst of the water, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So he's separating the water from the water. That is why the sky above us appears blue. That is why it rains. That's why water, you can't, these so-called scientists say all this stuff about where this water comes from. It's not true. It's because it is water. This is the very first book of the scripture here, guys. First book, first chapter, tells you. And YAHUAH made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. There you have it. And YAHUAH called the firmament Shamayim, or this English-speaking evil system calls it heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second Yom, or day. And YAHUAH Debar, let the waters under the Shamayim be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. So he's separating out the water into one place to create the oceans or the seas, and then obviously plots of dry land where we can live. And YAHUAH called the dry land Arath, and the gathering together of the waters called Yam, or seas. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And YAHUAH Debar, let the Arath bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the Arath. And it was so. And the Arath brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself and after his kind. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third Yom, or day. So we're on to the third day now. And YAHUAH Debar, let there be lights in the firmament, the Shamayim, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So he's establishing lights, the moon and the sun. And see, this is why I tell people you cannot believe the scriptures and NASA. You can't. Because the scriptures say that the moon was created for a light. NASA will tell you that the moon does not give off light, but it reflects it. So which do you believe? Verse 15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the Shamayim, to give light upon the Arath. And it was so. And YAHUAH made two great lights, the greater light to rule the Yom, or the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. And YAHUAH set them in the firmament of the Shamayim, to give light upon the Arath. So there you have it. The stars, they are for light. And to rule over the Yom, or the day, and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth Yom. And YAHUAH Debar, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the Arath in the open firmament of the Shamayim. So now he's creating all the animals. And YAHUAH created great whales, and every living creature that moveth which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And YAHUAH baraked them, saying, Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the Yam, or the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the Arath. So he's commanding the animals to multiply. In the evening and the morning were the 5th Yom, or day, and YAHUAH Debar, let the Arath bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beast of the Arath after his kind. And it was so. And YAHUAH made the beasts of the Arath after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. So again, he's creating more animals, and as Dasta said, everything belongs to him. And YAHUAH Debar, let us make man in our image. And he said our image because Yahusha was there with him at this time. And let them have dominion over the fish of the Yam, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the Arath, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the Arath. So YAHUAH created man in his own image. In the image of YAHUAH created he him, male and female, YAHUAH created. And YAHUAH baraked them, and YAHUAH Debar unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the Arath, and subdue it. Subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the Yam, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the Arath. So he's giving man the dominion over the animals. Then YAHUAH Debar, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole Arath, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to every beast of the Arath, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the Arath, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. And YAHUAH saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th Yom. So we are to the 6th day now. Thus the Shamayim and the Arath, and everything in the Arath were finished. And on the 7th Yom, or day, YAHUAH ended his work which he had done. And YAHUAH rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had done. Then YAHUAH baraked the 7th day, and Kadash it, because in it YAHUAH rested from all his work which YAHUAH had created and made. This is the history of the Shamayim and the Arath when they were created in the day that YAHUAH made the Arath and the Shamayim. So, if you're really that curious about the creation of the earth, how it happened, there is the majority of the story right there in the very first book. Alright, and Yubalim, this takes it a little deeper. And the Malak of the presence spoke to Musha, according to the word of YAHUAH, saying, Write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days YAHUAH finished all his work, and that all he created, and kept Shabbat on the 7th day, and sanctified it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. For on the 1st day YAHUAH created the Shamayim, which are above, and the Arath, and the waters, and all the Ruachoth, which served before him, the Malakim of the presence, and the Malakim of sanctification, and the Malakim of the Ruach of fire, and the Malakim of the Ruach of the winds, and the Malakim of the Ruach of the clouds, and of the darkness, and of the snow, and of the hail, and of hoarfrost, and the Malakim of the voices, and of the thunder, and of the lightning, and the Malakim of the Ruachoth of cold, and of heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and of all of the Ruachoth of his creatures which are in the Shamayim, and on the Arath. For YAHUAH created the abysses, and the darkness, evening and night, and the light, dawn and day, which he has prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon we saw his works, and Yada YAHUAH, and lauded before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the 1st day. And on the 2nd day YAHUAH created the expanse in the midst of the water, And the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below the expanse that was in the midst over the face of the whole Arath. And this was the only work YAHUAH created on the second day. And on the third day, YAHUAH commanded the waters to pass off from the face of the whole Arath into one place, and the dry land appeared. You know, this world likes to say there was some giant big bang that happened, and all this stuff was just created from nothing. No, YAHUAH created it all. He commanded it what to do. And it listened. And on the third day, YAHUAH commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole Arath into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the water did so, as YAHUAH commanded them, and they retired from off the face of the Arath into one place outside of this expanse, and the dry land appeared. And on that day, YAHUAH created for them all the Yamim, seas, according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and all the gatherings of the waters in the mountains, and on all the Arath, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the Arath, and the seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, and trees of the wood, and the garden of Adon, in Adon, and all. These 4 great works YAHUAH created on the third day. And on the fourth day, YAHUAH created the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and set them in the expanse of the Shamayim, in the expanse of the heaven, to give light, there it is, right there, to give light upon all the Arath, and to rule over the day and the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. Does it say he created the moon as a reflection of light? No. The sun and the moon and the stars, set them in the expanse of the Shamayim, the heaven, to give light upon all the Arath, and to rule over the day and the night, and to divide the light from darkness. The moon is a light, it is not a reflection. And YAHUAH appointed the sun to be a great sign on the Arath for days, and for Shabbats, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Shabbats of years, and Yubalim, and for all seasons of the years. Todah Rabba YAHUAH. And it divides the light from the darkness, and for prosperity, that all things may prosper, which shoot and grow on the Arath. These 3 kinds YAHUAH made on the 4th day. And on the 5th day, YAHUAH created the great sea monsters in the depths of the waters. For these were the first things of flesh that were created by his hands. The fish and everything that moves in the waters, and everything that flies, the birds and all their kinds. Those were the first creatures he created. Todah Rabba YAHUAH, for all the fish of the sea, all the creatures in the sea. And the sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the Arath, everything that shoots out of the Arath, and all fruit-bearing trees, and all flesh. These 3 kinds he created on the 5th day. And on the 6th day, YAHUAH created all the animals of the Arath, and all cattle, and everything that moves on the Arath. And after all this, YAHUAH created man, a man and a woman he created, and gave the man dominion over all that is upon the Arath and in the seas, and over everything, and over beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the Arath, and over the whole Arath. And over all this YAHUAH gave man dominion. And these 4 kinds YAHUAH created on the 6th day. And there were altogether 22 kinds. So he gave dominion to the man over these creatures. And he finished all his work on the 6th day, all that is in the Shamayim, and on the Arath, and in the seas, and the abysses, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. And YAHUAH gave us a great sign, the Shabbat, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the 7th day from all work. And the Malachim of the presence, and all the Malachim of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he has bidden us to guard the Shabbat with him in Shamayim and on Arath. And YAHUAH said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall guard the Shabbat, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will barak them, as I have sanctified the Shabbat, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so I will barak them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their YAHUAH. And I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Shabbat, that they may guard the Shabbat thereon from all work. And thus he created thereon a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink, and to barak YAHUAH, who has created all things, as YAHUAH has baraked and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, that they should guard the Shabbat together with us. So Todah Rabbah YAHUAH for the sixth day. And now Tehillim, Psalms 33. By the Debar of YAHUAH, the Shamayim were made. So by the words of YAHUAH, the Shamayim were made, the heavens were made, and all the hosts of them by their breath of his mouth. He created it all with his words. He spoke it into existence. There was no Big Bang. He gathers the water of the sea together as a heap. He lays upon the deep in the storehouses. Or he lays up the deep in the storehouses. Let all the Arath fear YAHUAH. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of YAHUAH. For YAHUAH Debar, and it was done. YAHUAH commanded, and it stood fast. For YAHUAH brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. YAHUAH makes the plans of the peoples of no effect. So he commanded it, and it stood fast. He spoke, and it was done. Ma'ashayim, Proverbs chapter 8. When YAHUAH prepared the Shamayim, this is Yahusha speaking, I was there. When YAHUAH drew a circle on the face of the deep, when YAHUAH established the clouds above, when YAHUAH strengthened the fountains of the deep, when YAHUAH assigned to the sea its limits, so that the waters would not transgress his command, when YAHUAH marked out the foundations of the Arath, then I was beside YAHUAH as a master craftsman. You see, he was a servant to YAHUAH since the beginning, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before YAHUAH, rejoicing in YAHUAH's inhabited world, and my delight was with the sons of men. Now therefore, listen to me, my children, for baraked are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Baraked is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life, and obtains favor from YAHUAH. But he who sins against me wrongs his own soul. All those who hate me love death. So if you hate Yahusha, you love death. He was there from the beginning, serving YAHUAH. Sirach 16. Listen to me, my son, and acquire knowledge, and pay close attention to my words. I will impart instruction by weight, and declare knowledge accurately. The works of YAHUAH have existed from the beginning by his creation, and when YAHUAH made them, he determined their divisions. For YAHUAH arranged his works in an eternal order, in their dominion for all generations. They neither hunger nor grow weary, and they do not cease from their labors. They do not crowd one another aside, and they will never disobey the Debar, the words, the commands of YAHUAH. After this, YAHUAH looked upon the Arath and filled it with his good things. With all kinds of living beings, he covered its surface, and to it they return. Todah Rabbah YAHUAH. The second book of Azra, chapter 6. And YAHUAH Debar to me at the beginning of the circle of the Arath, before the portals of the world were in place, and before the assembled winds blew, and before the rumblings of thunder sounded, and before the flashings of lightning shone, and before the foundations of paradise were laid, and before the beautiful flowers were seen, and before the powers of movement were established, and before the innumerable hosts of Malachim were gathered together, and before the heights of the air were lifted up, and before the measures of the firmaments were named, and before the footstool of Zaun was established, and before the present years were reckoned, and before the imaginations of those who now sin were estranged, and before those who stored up treasures of faith were sealed, then I planned these things, and they were made through me and not through another, just as the end shall come through me and not through another, says Yahuwah. He created it all, he can end it all. Tuda Rabba Yahuwah. Yehukanan, John chapter 1. In the beginning, the Dabar already existed. The Dabar was with Yahuwah, and the Dabar was Aluah. The Dabar existed in the beginning with Yahuwah, for Yahuwah created everything through the Dabar, and nothing was created except through the Dabar, and that the Dabar is Yahusha. He was there with Yahuwah, being a servant, helping create. Tuda Rabba Yahuwah. Colossians chapter 1. Hamashiach is the visible image of the invisible Aluah, for Hamashiach existed before anything was created, and Hamashiach is supreme over all creation. For through Hamashiach, Yahuwah created everything in the Shamayim, the heaven realms, and on Arath. For Yahuwah made the things we can see and the things we cannot see, such as thrones, kingdoms, rulers, and authorities in the unseen world. Everything was created through Hamashiach and for him. And that, my brothers and sisters, is a summary of the creation of the earth. It was not a big bang. It was not whatever this world wants to tell you. It was created by Yahuwah with the help of Yahusha, who was there since the beginning. Everything follows the command of Yahuwah, and as Brother Dasta said before, everything belongs to Yahuwah and Tuda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth.
That was a very, very, very great message, Brother Robert. Yahuwah created everything. Yahuwah spoke everything to existence. Yahuwah created you and me. Yahuwah created the very days, and Yahuwah created the Shabbat, very Shabbat that we're worshiping right now. Yahuwah created everything. That was a very, very, very important message, Brother Robert. Tuda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth Bahasham Yahusha HaMashiach.
They say the scripture said the Daba of Yahuwah is new every morning. The more you listen to it, the more you get more understanding and more clarity continuously. And that's how Yahuwah operates. You see, there's not too much of it. It is for your own consumption, to grow your mind, and you will use it to appreciate about Yahuwah more. You see, the most very important part I take from this message is the part that Yahuwah told it shows the children of Yashara to guide the Shabbat. He said it shows them. You see, so and you see this is very important. It shows them to guide the Shabbat, to tell you the importance of the Shabbat in the life of every chosen one. The importance of this Shabbat, this very Shabbat now that we are in, this is the 7th day of the creation, the 7th day. And what happened on the 7th day? Yahuwah did not create anything. He just barak the day. That's what he did. And he rested. Immediately he created the day, the 7th day, he baraked it, and he set it apart from the 6th day. If you look at it, the 6th day, he has finished all his work that he created. Then he now created the Shabbat. This is the account of creation. That's what Brother Robert just ministered. You see, this is joy. When you want to worship Yahuwah, you worship him with his creation. Abba, your creation is beautiful. And when you are worshiping Yahuwah in this direction, you will feel joy in your soul, in your own soul. You see? So, I'm so happy that this is the message that came out today. And the guiding of the Shabbat See, the topic of my message today is in line with what Brother Desta ministered. It all belongs to YAHUAH. All creation belongs to YAHUAH. Then Brother Robert came in with this very special topic of the account of the creation of the world, of this Arath. How YAHUAH created it day by day, and he created everything on the 6th day, and he rested.